a lot of buzz is there about GST. Everybody's talking about GST. If you listen to news, if you read newspapers, if you talk to friends and colleagues, everybody's talking about GST. And so the very important question arises, are you ready for GST? So let us see. If we want to know what is the position worldwide as far as GST is concerned, it's a very old concept. If we see, it was firstly introduced in France in 1954, and thereafter various countries in the world, more than 160 countries have adopted GST, or at some places they call it VAT also. So we also have a VAT in India, but that's a different concept. What we are now going to implement the GST, that is called VAT in some of the countries. And one important point of difference as compared to the other countries is that here in India we will have a dual GST. A dual GST because we have a federal structure, we have the states, we have the center, and both have powers, and that is why we will be going for a dual GST, which is also in place in Brazil and Canada. But in most of the countries they have a unified or a single GST. So that's a basic difference. And if we look to the rates of GST, one of the highest rates is in Gambia, 40%, and in Hungary it's 27%. So probably in India it will be around this rate of Hungary, 27%. We are talking about 80-20%, but we don't know. Once it is finalized, then only we will know. So it will be obviously lesser than this. And in Malaysia, a nearby country, it was introduced in 2015-16 only, and the rate is 6%. Now, history of GST in India. Do you want to know that? Do you not already know that? So I will not be talking about the history of GST in India, how it was introduced 10 years ago and what everything has happened. The Constitution Amendment Bill 122 has also been passed. Various states are passing. This is news. This is happening every day, and I think we don't need to waste time on that. We will in fact talk why GST has been introduced. Because of some existing problems in the taxation system, because multiplicity of taxes is there, multiple taxes are there. You are aware, excise duty is there, VAT is there, service tax is there, custom duty is there. There's so many taxes, and for each tax we have to file returns, we have to pay taxes separately, there are different compliances, etc. So that is the basic problem. And what more? And obviously the system becomes very difficult. And for a normal accountant or even a CA or another professional, it is difficult to comply with all these things, and so many changes take place every day. What other problems are there? Cascading effect of taxes. From times immemorial we have seen that we have to pay tax on tax. If we are buying from somebody and he's charged some tax, again we'll be selling to another person, and we'll be taking even that tax into account, and we'll be calculating tax on the total amount. So that is tax on tax, or cascading effect of taxes. In Modvat, to some extent, that was the benefit was given to the people, but still in other cases this cascading effect of taxes is still there. Multiple taxes on single item. We are aware that in many cases we do not know whether the particular thing is a good or a service. Take the example of software. In software you have to pay excise duty also, you have to pay VAT also. Take the example of when you go out to a restaurant for dining out with your family or friends. There you have to pay VAT also on some items, service tax also you have to pay if it is an air-conditioned restaurant. So these problems are there. And another very big problem is the limited availability of input credit. Service tax benefit and excise duty benefit can be taken, but for VAT, if you pay VAT, you cannot take the benefit of service tax. Similarly, for service tax, you cannot take the benefit of VAT. So these taxes, different taxes, you cannot take the input credit of. That is again a very, very big problem, and because of that, the cost of production goes up and makes us uncompetitive. So what change will take place in GST or goods and service tax? That will the new law that will come very soon. In GST, most of these indirect taxes will be subsumed, whether it is service tax, whether it is VAT, whether it is excise duty, whether it is local levies like entry and entertainment tax levied by the state government. All these will be subsumed, and even custom duty to a limited extent, because special additional duty and the countervailing duty, they will be subsumed. The basic custom duty will remain there, and so import of goods will still be taxable under the customs duty, and these will be subsumed under GST. Another important change that will happen now is that GST, unlike the other taxes that we have till now, is a destination-based tax. What does that mean? A destination-based tax means that the revenue will be taken, or it will be the revenue of the consumption state. Wherever the consumption takes place of the item, or the good, or the services, that state will get the revenue. Now let us see what are the broad constituents of GST, what all taxes will be there in GST. So GST will be one goods and service tax, but it will have several components. So what are these? Let us see. One type of sale in GST could be intra-state sale, that is sale within the state. So in this case, what taxes will be there? CGST, that is Central Goods and Service Tax, and SGST, that is the state's goods and service tax, which will go to the state, and CGST will go to the center. The other sale could be interstate sale, and in this case only one tax will be there, that will be the integrated goods and service tax, that is IGST. It will have the portions of CGST and SGST we will just now see. And if we talk about the cross utilization of credit, so how things will happen, let us see. In the case of intrastate taxable supply, what will happen? From if we have input credit of CGST, that can be used for payment of output liability of CGST, but it cannot be used for payment of output liability of SGST. Similarly, if we have input credit of SGST, we can use it to pay output liability of SGST, but we cannot use SGST for payment of output liability of CGST. So not in all the cases we can get a cross utilization of credit. In some cases it is possible. Then if we talk about interstate supply of goods and services, there we will have one tax, that is IGST. It will have, as already said, two portions, CGST and SGST. This will be collected by the central government, but portion of this which will be CGST will be retained by the central government, and the state portion, that is SGST, will be transferred to the relevant state. Whichever is the consuming state, that will get that portion of SGST.
Hi friends. Hope you like the first introduction chapter on GST. Now we agree that GST is a big opportunity for professionals. And at the same time it may become a threat if professional doesn't update in time. Now what's the challenge? The challenge is how to prepare for GST. We are all aware that the knowledge will flow from everywhere, like books, websites, workshops, seminars, webinars. And in fact there would be overload of knowledge. But question is how systematically we can use this knowledge in this limited time. So what do we require? We require structured learning, regular updation, and most importantly, updating well within time. Time is the crucial and deciding factor, because people who learn well in time will have an edge over others. We are happy to inform you that WebTel, with its experience in software development, has now ventured into Gst e-learning. With the help of panel of experts, we have kept these modules simple for better understanding of not only professionals like you, but also your own staff or staff of your clients who do not get access to learning but are the ones who have to do the actual work. Following are the major topics which we will take up under Gst e-learning. Introduction of GST. Registration. Returns. Supply. Time of supply. Place of supply, which will be very important. Payment. Refund. Industry-wise analysis and many more. Be amongst the first ones to get a complete insight on GST.